Path of Exile 2 is the most confusing game that I've ever played. I think that I've reached a point where I can safely say that because as a new player, I've experienced quite a lot. Right now, I'm doing tier 15 maps, and I know what some of you may think, like, oh dude, you're a noob, get good, who cares? I know, but trust me on this one, hear me out, guys. I think that any game, no matter how difficult it may be, needs the perspective of a new player. Now, the reason I think that is because games live and die by their player life cycle. That means you need a constant influx of new players coming in because old players will always get out. So if you want your game to succeed, thrive, and survive, you need new players. Otherwise, the game will just, fade away. So I want to give my 2 cents as a new player, regardless of if you guys think I'm wrong or right. I will gladly like to hear what you think about that. But as a new player, I should start by how I even came into POE 2 real quick, right? So I played POE 1, I played it for 30 minutes, and then I just ended up quitting because I was so overwhelmed. Now, it's super difficult for me to play and do commentary videos, so you'll have to bear with some really poor gameplay in the meantime. I apologize for that. But anyway, going back to the topic, I played POE 1 for 30 minutes and then I just got overwhelmed. So whenever my friend purchased the founder pack for POE 2, he got 1 key and he gave it to me. And when I got the key, I told him, like, dude, I'm not really sure. Like, Path of Exile, it's super complex and I really don't want to watch a guide or have any help whatsoever because I'm the type of player who doesn't watch guides. I love to play for myself and I love learning. So, playing a game that overwhelms me just makes me want to quit because I hate watching guides. I truly hate doing that. And also, generally speaking, I don't think anyone should watch a guide to play any game whatsoever, right? It's okay if you want to get improved, but just to understand the basic principle of the game, you need a guide. That is really bad. That is Yu-Gi-Oh! Levels of bad. And if you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, he told me, dude, POE 2 is completely different from the first game. It's way more noob-friendly. Just try it out and see what you think. Okay, I started playing POE 2, and immediately I noticed a vast difference between the two games. Because right when you play POE 2, you start at the tutorial zone, the first island, whatever, and you play a little bit, you kill some monsters. Of course, first you choose your character, your class, and they drop you right into the middle of the action. You do some basic attacks and you just get your first gem. Now, when you get your first gem, the game does a really great job at telling you, like, hey, here's a tooltip. It tells you exactly what you need to do with the gem. Just right click on it and you get an ability of your choosing that corresponds with your class, of course. So for example, I chose Rolling Slam as my first ability, I believe. And I picked it up, it gave me this gem. It tells you, like, you put it in the skill menu, you press G, it pops up, you put it here. These empty slots, don't worry about them right now. Great, awesome, really fantastic job at explaining the core ability management of the game. Perfect. You can, of course, then you can press tab just like, you can press alt, I'm sorry, just like Baldur's Gate 3, and hover everything you want to see in the ability. Now, slight problem I have here is that you always have these sections. I would like them to be like maybe different colors, so it would be easier for you to understand as a new player, like, oh, these are the different aspects of the same ability, and they might have different stuff to them. Like this does way more damage, like the second slam does way more damage than the first one. So, you can kind of look at that and, understand that, but I would really hope that to be way clearer at the beginning. Now, outside of that, the tooltip is excellent. It just shows you the skill that you're hovering on, and it even shows you a little video. So you can see the ability for yourself and how it functions. I think, generally speaking, they've done a tremendous job at explaining new players how ability works. Now, the problem is not really with these type of gems, but the uncut support gems. And I don't have one on me, so I'll go real quick just to show you, because I have one in my stash, I believe. And yeah, so you go and you get a support gem. Now, support gem is where my first real big problem with the game came. So let's say I mark an ability like Rolling Slam again, And you have all of these options. Now, great, you only have to read one of the three. You get tier 1 gems, so you only have these three available currently. You don't need to just explore and watch all of this. And you decide for yourself, what do you want out of these three? Now, the problem here is that these are recommended. My friend actually told me in like literally the middle of the campaign that I can click here at the small box that nobody bets an eye to. Like literally I did not see this at all because the game overwhelmed you with the speed. Even though the early game is slower, it's still a very packed game with information. I didn't even pay attention to that. Once you click that, a whole new world opens before you. Now that, I think, is a problem. What I think GGG needs to do is that they need to gray out the gems that you cannot use for the ability that you're currently marking. So right now I'm on Rolling Slam. I want you to tell me what I can't and can put on Rolling Slam. This is very important. Some of these gems needs to be grayed out. It is especially important when you have abilities like, let's say, the Shockwave Totem. And, you know, you don't know that attack speed scales with a totem. So, for example, I only recently learned that you can put rapid attacks on a totem, right? Because it's the attack speed still makes it quicker. So I would definitely like to see some stuff grayed out if they're irrelevant. That would make the whole process a lot smoother. And I would appreciate it greatly. Now, you also have uncut spirit gems. I don't have a problem with them. They're very simple to understand, like the regular skill gems. But I would like to see more explanation about spirit in general, because I didn't really realize what it was. It's that resource over here that nobody barely pays attention to. And you can increase it. So, yeah, I mean, you should have a little bit more explanation about that. I would definitely like to see that in like the future, right? So let's go back into the map, and yeah, okay. So anyway, as I was saying, these are basically the first frustrations that I had with the game. Now, you can say also that enchantment, like disenchant and selling items and identifying is also really difficult because you don't really know what the shortcuts are. And that is true, because I used to just click on the guy, and then I was like, identify my items. And my friend told me to just control click everything. Now, I did not know that. I would be totally happy if the game told me that. I think that is important. And you can also control alt click at different vendors just to do like, you know, this, open all of this stuff. So I would definitely be happier if the game actually had a tooltip that explained you this stuff. That would definitely make my life easier. Now, it's not super important, but you know, I think these small stuff are actually important, and like they are helpful for sure. Now, another slight obstacle is the skill tree. A lot of players see that and they get confused. They get completely overwhelmed and they ended up quitting the game, even though most of this is irrelevant to your current class, because your class, I play a warrior, I start here, and I don't really need to go here unless I do some like out of the meta, out of mind build shenaniganry. You don't really need to go here. All you need to do is look at the, I guess you can call it like a triangle before you, right? And that's pretty much it. Now you can go to the side like I have here, but this is pretty much the area where you want to be in. Depends on which class you chose. Now the game does a very good job explaining you the basic stuff, but it doesn't really explain you that you don't need to go here. So this is where the part where I would definitely like for them to have, if you play Dota 2, I'm a Dota 2 player. If you play Dota 2, you know there is this thing called pre-build. Now, a pre-build is a player, or any player whatsoever, basically put a build on inside the game engine, and he uploads that build into the game. Now, players can vote if that build is good or not, and if a build is good enough, it will rise to the top. Now, what you can do with this build is you can literally click on it, and it will automatically show you a path of exactly where you need to go and what items you need to buy. Now, in POE, it's a bit different because, you know, it's not a MOBA game. You don't have any items, right? But it can show you exactly which nodes you can take. Now, this is a very noob-friendly option, and I know a lot of people will hate me for saying it, but I think that this will do wonders for the game. If you have like popular builds, right? Like let's take a very important like figure in PoE, like Fabgun, right? You want to watch a Fabgun build, he uploads it directly into the game. You can just do click, Fabgun build, confirm, and then you have all the nodes highlighted that you need to go on. So this will do wonders for the game. It worked for Dota 2. I think it will definitely work for this game. And on that note, I'll just, I'll take the 12 strength real quick. And that is it. I'm fully geared and ready to go. Now, I think that would do wonders for the game, and hopefully I can see that option in the future. I don't know if you guys hate it or not, so make sure to let me know. But personally for me, I think it will only do good. Now, the thing about the game is that it is not very difficult at the campaign. At that campaign, you can do pretty much whatever you want, and you will still kill everything. I know, because my build was trash, my items were trash, and I still managed to clap cheeks at every single corner. I haven't really encountered any difficulties until I reached like tier 5 maps. And this is where the endgame comes into play. I think that the endgame, generally speaking, sucks balls. The endgame is bad. You click on the map and this is what you see. You have absolutely no idea what you need to do. And the game does a very poor job at explaining to you what the hell everything is. You see that realm gate, and you're like, what the hell is a realm gate? What the hell am I supposed to do? And then you see all of these paths you need to take. Now, the paths are not a problem. You can pretty much figure it out on your own. But the thing where you need to put a map here and all of these 3 options are not grayed out or locked or something, it's very confusing. Now, I understand there is a scarab mechanic from PoE 1 that I think they plan integrating into PoE 2. That was I was told. But as a new player, you don't know that. So you see this and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, what am I? Nothing. The answer is nothing. So why this is in the game? This should definitely be fixed. And also, on that matter, the whole upgrade system with the orbs should be explained way more carefully. Now, I don't think it should be changed. I think it's wonderful and it works perfectly. All I say that they need to do is explain it way better. Because when you see even orb of transmutation, and like, upgrade a normal item to magic item, it's very confusing. You don't really know what they mean. And then you read all of this and you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Because once you, click on an item and you see all of this, we can take an even, I guess, simpler item. We can do this. You see this and you're like, what the hell is a prefix? What the hell is a prefix? What the hell is a suffix? What the hell is an implicit? You hear all of these confusing words and you have no idea what they mean. And even after reading them, you're like, what? You have absolutely no idea what they are. Same goes for like quality and all of these stuff. So, sockets, all of these things should be explained way more carefully because they all happen all at once and they are very overwhelming. So all that I'm saying is that you need to have a leveling experience that is a little bit more methodical. So explain to me what a socket is, explain to me what a rune is in a very simple and precise manner. That would help players build their knowledge in small bits rather than like huge chunks that are very difficult to process. That I think would solve everything. And also just make sure we know that you can put these stuff on literally everything like maps and tablets. And while we're on that topic, tablets suck. I hate tablets. I hate the fact that you need to put them to, gain benefits and stuff. I would definitely like to see tablets removed and them being integrated inside a map. That is just my personal opinion. I know some of you will hate me for saying that, but again, my opinion as a complete noob and a total player. I would definitely like if Expedition was a node here, because all of these nodes, they're empty. They're empty and they're boring until you hit one that actually means something. So I would really like to see all of these tablets, instead of being something you add, just be integrated with the map. Now, I do realize that they've made significant changes to the endgame, and it's way better than what it used to be, but these are the type of changes I would like to see just to make it a little bit more interesting. But that's just my opinion on that. So, I mean, yeah, what else can I say, right? These are pretty much the main thing that I want to talk about. I guess the last thing that I want to talk about is itemization. Right now, I feel like items are way more important than the Atlas tree, because you go to the Atlas and unless you reach a really strong notable, like, you know, let's say, like, well, not unforgiving, but this one, brutal, right, which is increased to melee damage and increased to strength, and also you have smash, which is a ton of damage percentage. Unless you hit those, you don't really feel like you're getting too powerful from the nodes themselves. You feel like you get way more powerful from the items, because the difference between putting a bad armor and, like, this one, for example, is night and day difference. I swapped my weapon with one that was slightly, not cheaper, slightly expensive, and my DPS tripled. So it was a huge change for me. And actually, I can show it to you right now, because I believe I just hit the right node. So I can actually equip my hammer that I had stashed up. So, yep, I can. So as you can see, right now my DPS is 25k. And the moment I put this hammer, this is actually really exciting. I take this down and I put this. Oh my god! Oh my, this is a live reaction, by the way. Oh my, holy. I literally just hit the strength qualification to hit this node. That is crazy. That is crazy amount of difference. Dude, did I just doubled my... Yeah, I more than doubled my DPS. So you see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is where the true power comes from. I would definitely like to see power come from Atlas tree more than the items, because the focus on items is way too big and the merchant is really complicated. Now, I know some of you play solo cell phone, but no new player would realistically play solo cell phone. Everyone will go to trade. And I understand that the market is new and they're working on improving it. I'm just, again, giving my mind on it. So basically, if I didn't have my friend explaining everything here to me, I wouldn't understand it. It is really problematic. Searching for items is so confusing, and all of these tiny bars are just unreadable. You have absolutely no idea what to do, especially with a stat filter, which is the most important part. Because let's say I look for cold resistance. Now you can see at the top here, we have pseudo and we have explicit. Now, what the hell is the difference between these two? I don't know. But all I need to know is that I want the explicit. You never click on pseudo. I think pseudo just mean any source of, like, cold resistance. No, this is a problem. I would definitely like to see this fixed and explained more carefully and more methodically. If you can do something, like I said, with the Atlas tree, when you have pre-builds, you already have, like, popular stat filters, that would be amazing. Like, okay, you want to search for an armor? Give me top 5 most popular stats for an armor. That would be great. And also give me all the stats that can be on you know, an armor. Like, let's say a helmet. I want to know which stats I can put on my helmet, and give me the top 5 most search stats. That would be amazing. I think that would do significantly better for the game, and just make the trade a little bit more noob friendly and a little bit more readable. I think even old players would notice, even like seasoned players that already know how to navigate the market would appreciate that, because clarification is always good, no matter what your expertise level is. So on that note, I think that I cleared pretty much everything. I'm just gonna do a DPS check real quick with the boss. And yeah, I will talk about, oh, you know what, the Wisp is here, which is also really great to talk about at this point. So, Wisp and, Jesus Christ, my damage, man. So, Wisp and, generally speaking, just mechanics inside the game that works like that, ritual, whatever, they are very confusing. Especially when you reach the higher Atlas, which, what was the keyword for it? You know, never mind. Especially when you reach the special Atlas and... Oh, Jesus, okay, there's a boss here. Wait, let me just clear him real quick. Apologies for that, Chief. Let me just clap you real quick. Thank you. Ooh, what do you know? A unique. So control U, right? Especially when you have this and you have absolutely no idea what any of it means. This is really difficult. You really need to make all of these not random. You need to make absolutely sure that the base game, and I mean like the campaign, explains very carefully what all of these are. And I mean, I mean like literally even give us these points at the campaign. Because right now, you're getting like 5 or 10 points the moment you hit the late game. And that is very problematic because you get overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. So I would definitely be glad if you wouldn't bombard us at the end game and you would just scatter all of these things throughout the campaign. Because the campaign is incredible and it is very crucial for learning. So if you can put all of these stuff and integrate them somehow into the campaign, I think that would have been great. Now, I know many people will probably hate me for it, and this is like a very noob take, but it is what it is, man. You know, I still want to say those things because I think they're important. So, regardless, I'll just kill the boss real quick. I just really want to test my new weapon. And after that, I'm pretty sure that I've said everything that I want to say. So, this is pretty interesting video to make. I love making it. I know you guys love it when I do commentary and stuff. I tried to do commentary with gameplay because I didn't want to be boring. Jesus Christ, man. The damage is uncanny. But yeah, that's pretty much all for today's video. I definitely spoke about everything that I want to. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, but regardless, make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments below because I really care about what you guys say. And yeah, that's pretty much all for today's video. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one.